welcome to the People's Parks. This is our first edition of a new show where we will be interviewing different people and going around to different parks to show you all of the wonderful things you can do in our Newcastle County parks. Today I'm here with Sergeant Jim Henasey, and we are going to be interviewing on one of our favorite subjects, the Clydesdale Colts, who are now no longer Colts, they're almost adults, isn't that right?
They're about 3 years old now, and they're about ready to start their mounted training to become part of the unit. So originally they came in here as babies, everybody calls them, and now we're getting ready to introduce them to police work.
So today we're going to show them coming out and interacting with some of the horses that are already working in the mounted patrol, isn't that right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the beginnings of their training.
Okay.
Okay, so what are they doing now?
They're bringing them into the ring. We usually introduce them to an arena because this is where they're going to start learning their mounted training. As you can see, they all got fresh haircuts this week. They roached their manes, did their feathers, washed them. So
I know when they were first starting, that was one of their biggest hurdles, was getting them washed and groomed.
Yes.
They did not like that.
Every little thing they do is an adventure. You never know how they're going to be when they're new. And it's the same way when we go to start their training. Right now they're setting up and putting their saddle pads on them. This is the third day that we've put them under saddle. So you never know what's going to happen. They could buck up, they can take off, they could run, they can nip at you. So you can see they're all attentive to what's going on. So we introduce these things to them and let them smell the saddle. You're constantly reassuring them, petting them, everything's going to be all right. Right now, Wrangler, the black one right here, he kind of flinched at the saddle. It's on him. They're both reassuring. The riders are reassuring him. Everything's okay. See how they're petting them. So
then that's Wrangler over
That's
there.
Wrangler, the black one.
And that's Warden, the lighter one there.
The lighter bay.
Now I see that there's 2 officers with each horse. Is that just
so right
while
now,
they're young?
When you start from the rider's side, putting the saddle on, sometimes he'll shy away from it.
Right.
So we'll have a rider on that side to prevent him from moving side to side. So it's easier to handle them, by 2s while they're on the ground, especially since it's only their 3rd day. We're not trying to rush them.
Right.
So.
And they have been with each other, I know, since they were brought up, and now that they're starting their patrol, they will be separated, isn't that right?
Since they've been here, they've been with each other every second of the day. They're pasture mates. They're the only ones in that pasture when they're out. All of our guys, all of the horses we have, we kind of mix them up with who they get along with. Some of them don't get along with one another when they're on their own. So these 2, it's kind of automatic. They only know each other. So part of the thing we need to do is get them to work independent. Once they get through their mounted training, we need them to be able to operate by themselves. So
and that could be,
as of Monday, their life changed. So they're no longer in the pasture together. They've been separated, and we've linked them up with 2 of our senior horses that are really calm. So to keep them calm in their new stable, kind of, acclimate them to their new pasture, that's how we do it.
Because that could actually be potentially dangerous to have them too reliant on each other when you actually do need to take them out.
Exactly. After they're done their mounted training, we introduce them to the street, and we're out stopping cars, engaging people. We can't have them wanting to be with each other. That's just another obstacle the rider has to go through.
Right.
So.
And have you found that they tend to acclimate pretty quickly when they're separated?
You never know.
You never know. Every horse is different.
This week was like a babysitting effort.
Yeah.
We put them out in the field, let them go, see how they're going to do. Warden, we put him out in the field with his new friends, and all he wanted to do was gallop around, go smell them, run around. So he was, who's these new guys? Warden, he was kind of, he didn't really care too much, so he was pretty easy. But that'll be a transition. It'll take, a week, 2, could take longer than that for them to really settle in with their pasture mates.
So how much longer from now would you say until they're actually ready to be brought out if they needed to be as part of the mounted patrol?
Well, we don't really need them right now, so we could take all the time we want to make sure they come
They're
accustomed
ready.
to the training and they're ready to go. And they're actually doing way better than I thought they would do. You know, they have a saddle under them right now. Right now, the riders are using lifting blocks right now. They'll lay across the saddle, show them the weight. You know,
Keep
it's
'em calm.
basically showing the horse, all right, you're getting ready to accept this weight. If they do well, which they are. Corporal Brown's laying across the saddle right now. He's letting Warden take his weight. And you don't even care about it. So that's a good sign.
And I know everything you do here is positive reinforcement.
Yep. The rider on the ground is petting him. Everything's okay. You can see Warden, Corporal Brown's on his back. He put some more pressure in the saddle by putting his foot up in the stirrup. You can see Warden pop his head a little bit. That's just, oh, okay, everything's okay.
Okay.
You know, they reinforce them, they're petting them, everything's okay, they're talking to them. And once they do that a few times, right over here with Wrangler, Corporal Salhorse is on top of him, laying his weight across him.
Is it intentional that one rider gets on the horse before the other? Is that so that
No, it's
one
just
can see?
Whoever's going to take it first.
Okay.
Whoever's more accepting, they do it.
Oh, wow.
So right now they are. So that's why they mounted up.
Well, and they've been taught to be led by a lead or by, the rein since when they were very small. So.
The carousel staff here has been fantastic with handling them. So,
Yes.
that's a lot of it. They're bringing them in, they're leading them on the ropes, bringing them back in, feeding them, always handling them, always treating them well. And right now, he doesn't know what's going on. He's starting to back up. He's
getting a little nervous.
He's a little, what's going on?
It seems like maybe
This guy over here, he's
he
saying, what's
seems-
happening with my buddy? So that's where they're.
Hence, they're very connected to each other.
Yep. So what we'll do now is the two riders that were on the ground, they're going to go in and get two of our senior guys. So now look at them, they're paying attention. All right, what's going on? Here's
Okay.
these guys walking in like they know what's going on. You see how they walk with purpose?
Now, who's the horse that's leading right now?
This one's here, Spartan,
Okay.
and that one is Elvis. He's our most senior guy. He's probably the strongest
Right, I
horse we have.
remember that.
But, they walk in, no problem. They know what's going on. They know the program. They're coming in. These guys are looking at them like, oh, what's happening? You see the Warden's backing up a little bit.
So Warden looks like a very tall horse. Maybe not as thick
Warden's
or big,
a
but he looks pretty
taller
tall.
one, I think. But Wrangler's, he's starting to
Little bit
fill out
thicker.
a lot better.
Yeah. So here we go. Now we got
So what we'll have
four.
now, we'll have all four of them in there. Put our strongest horse, Elvis. Once Officer Schultz mounts up, she'll fall in on the lead, and then we'll put the two new guys in the middle, and then follow it up with Spartan in the back.
So is this their first time doing this?
This is the third time.
Third time, okay.
Yeah. But you never know what's going to happen.
Right,
Now,
I'm
the
sure for a
first
while
time-
it's a little
The first
tentative.
time they may have been, oh, I don't know what's happening, and before it was over. Before they could figure out what's going on, it was over. Yesterday, they knew a little bit more. Today, they might be like, oh, I remember what happened yesterday. I don't like this. So you never know what's going to happen with these guys.
See the scraping on the ground with his hoof there? Does
Yeah,
that mean he's
just
a little
impatient.
anxious?
Yeah,
oh,
impatient,
okay.
anxious, what's going on. Okay, so Officer Schultz going to have more Elvis fall in.
Okay.
Spartan's going to the back.
Oh, wow, it looks like they're already starting
And then-
to fall in on their own there.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
It's just like we do when we train new riders. Horses are the same. We're going to get them up on the rail, have them walking around. You're constantly reinforcing the new guys, petting them, everything's okay. He's going to follow the leader. They'll follow the leader. They're still looking around, wondering what's going on. You might see them flinch here and there if they see something outside the ring, that like that person down there. That might spook them a little bit. But at
Now-
the same time, the riders are trying to figure them out too. The horses,
Right.
what their little
Nuances
intricate-
are.
Yep.
Well, it's certainly impressive that they seem to have the instinct to know what to do.
Yep. They're really great to train. I mean, when I was in the unit the first time, I had the opportunity to train a couple brand new ones, and it was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really the same way. It's nice. It's neat to watch them progress through the training and all that.
And they all just have they all have their own personalities,
Yeah,
and they all seem so,
Yeah,
as
do.
much as they may look alike, they are so different.
Warden's probably a little more anxious one.
Mm-hmm.
Wrangler, he's a little more laid back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is
But
bound
there's good
to
things and
happen.
bad things about both personalities, you know. When the wound up one wants to go, he's fun to ride. He's fast. The other guy, he might not be as fast, you know. He's laid back. But repetition is what makes them good. Like right now, you don't want to do two things at once. You don't want to walk, you know. You'll stop, look around.
And they
We'll
know
be
to
patient
stop.
with him. We're not going to kick him to death to make him move. We'll just let him take his time.
Mm-hmm. So did he just stop on his own just then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Well, he seemed to pick it back up.
Yeah.
So what's the next step in their training?
In this, they'll keep doing this probably. So today we would probably do this for about half hour.
Mm-hmm.
We'll walk the whole ring. We'll cut the ring, go back the other way. You want to work on both directions because most people don't realize that, you know, when he's working this way, he's working this side of his body a little more. When you go on the other way, he's working the other side of his body a little more. So we'll split the ring and kind of do, you know, laps, the same amount of laps each way.
To get them used to.
Yeah, each way. And then we'll start doing circles. We'll do smaller circles, make them bend their body, get them used to the bit being pulled on in their mouth. That's how we steer them.
Mm-hmm. So they essentially will almost always train in the ring.
Yeah, once we get them to the point where, you know, they're walking, trotting, they're only in the first gait.
Right.
You know, eventually we'll pick them up into a trot, and we'll do that gait.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do the same thing, trot around the ring, cut the ring, small circles, have them bending, working their bodies, getting them, you know, at the same time.
And following the larger horses.
Yep.
Okay.
And then eventually, once we get them through all their gaits, we'll start making them take the lead.
Okay.
And that's another step. So they might be doing this, and they might say they were in a trot and going around, and the new guy, okay, take the new guy, take him to the front. And it's a lot of work to force him past the leader. So we're trying to make him to be a leader.
Okay.
You know, so we do that with each one of those guys. We want out on the street, no matter what time or what situation we're in, we want our horses to all be leaders. You know, whoever's in front, we want them to be able to take the lead. Doesn't always happen that way, but you know,
and
there's
do you
always
think
going
they
to be
enjoy it? Do you think they
Yeah, I
enjoy
think
coming
they
out
enjoy
and
this
learning
work.
this?
Yeah, I think they enjoy this work. This is easy compared to, I mean, they'd rather do this than pull a plow carriage, you know?
Yeah.
Be out in the field. You know, right now they have a lot of anxiety.
Right,
know,
everything's
you don't know
so
it,
new.
But everything's new. You know, we took them away from their pasture mates. You know, they have new friends they have to deal with in their new home. You know, now they got a saddle on their back. They have a person on their back. So they had a lot going on, and that's good enough for this week. You know.
Yeah, they seem to be just
As long as they're
handling it very
progressing,
well.
we'll keep going.
So have you ever had one of the horses that was paired up with a new partner, you know, react badly and
Yes.
nip at each other? Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's why you have to babysit them. And that process that'll be a couple weeks. You know, we'll babysit them a little bit.
Make
Watch.
sure.
We'll put them out, watch them, because you know they're just like teenagers right now. They'll, you know, and you have the old men out there, the senior guys.
Right.
They're like, who's these new guys coming out here, you know, invading my home? You know, they come smell each other. They'll nip at each other. You know, if they don't like each other, they'll kick at each other.
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
you know, if you get personalities that don't work out, we got to move them around a little bit.
Okay, so at least it has happened before, and you know how to react to it, and you know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't imagine trying to break up, you know,
Yeah.
two very large horses who weren't
No, when they
pleased
want
with
to
each
kick
other.
or bite, they kick and bite. I mean, it's something to see, really.
Well, it's really nice to know that they're acclimating so well to their new
They
training.
are really doing well.
And even with all the people walking around here outside, they don't seem to be too bothered by it.
The good thing is they've been around this. This is parks all they know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, with all these different animals we have out here, it's kind of not even phasing them.
the noises and everything like that. They're just already used to it.
Yep. Our biggest obstacle is going to be making them independent,
Mm-hmm.
and then working them through our training and not pushing them too fast. You know, our vet checked them out,
Mm-hmm.
gave them the clearance to start training, but you know, they're new guys, so it's like you don't want to run them to death. You don't want to work their joints too hard.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, their backs get sore. They're just like people. I mean,
Especially when they're not quite as big as the other ones yet,
Mhm.
you know.
yeah, you could tell Wharton. He's looking back at his buddy. He's not really paying attention right now. That's why he's lagging back a little bit.
Well, it looks like he knows it's a job, but he also knows that, you know, if he stops, they're going to wait for him.
Hmm.
So he's got to get the hang of, you know,
And we'll
keeping
let him
up.
do that. We'll give him a couple days.
A little
of
bit
that,
of leeway,
you know?
right?
But after a while, if it seems like he's trying to get over, which that's what
Right.
they try to do in training. They're like, I don't really want to do this today. So that's when you'll start giving them a little leg and a little more motivation to move forward.
Sure.
So right now, we're getting them into circles. See how they're working the bit to the left, so get their
Yes.
head to move to the left.
So this is great that they're actually
Yep.
really following each other.
Now
Um,
everything they're doing, they'll eventually do at a trot
Yeah.
and a canter. They'll do it at different gaits. But this is
These tight circles like this, that's
Mhm.
wow, that's great. It's funny because you can watch them and you can see some of them, they don't care, they just watch whoever's in front of them.
mhm.
Some of them look all around, they
Yeah.
want to see everything that's happening. See, we got this guy over here, he
A lot
wants
of
to see
times
everything.
when they're doing all this, I'm just watching their body language. And
Yeah.
Their ears tell you a lot, and their ears are
Okay.
just kind of fluttering in the air. They're kind of like, oh, I'm listening to my rider, and everything's okay. And you know, they dip their head. They're
Oh.
kind of just going with the program. They're good.
And what would be a sign that you might be about to have a
Well, the
Bit of a
biggest
bad
sign is going
reaction.
to be ears back.
ears back?
If
Just like a
pins
dog,
his,
then.
if a horse
yeah.
pins his ears, he's upset. That's the major sign.
Okay.
If he starts popping his head, that's a sign. He'll just start moving side to side, backwards. He'll just be doing everything that the rider doesn't want him to do.
And what does the rider do in a case like that?
You could stop, settle down,
Okay.
reassure him,
Right.
stop. Okay, you know, he just don't know. You know,
Just
it's
wants to
not
make him feel
one.
safe
It's
and
not one
not
of those instances
pressured.
where he's being a jerk.
Right.
It's like I don't know what you want. So the rider will just settle down. Okay, let's start, regroup, gather up the reins. Okay, let's start over.
Okay, well that's good.
Everything they
know.
do is repetition in the
Right.
horse world. I mean, the more you do it, the better they are. The more you press them to do something else,
The more they
and
know what
move
to
on,
expect.
and that's what makes them better. You know, as long as they keep doing things, you know, walk, trot, canter. Okay, let's try to jump them. Let's try to teach them to jump. You know, you just keep moving forward with their
Do
training.
you jump these horses?
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Elvis is a big jumper.
They seem so big. It's hard to imagine.
They don't jump high.
Well,
I mean,
but-
we're talking like 1-2 feet over rails. You
Yeah.
know, they're not big Olympic jumpers. They ain't going to jump over 6-foot rails, but
Well, I imagine when
Yeah.
they do.
they'll jump
start
logs
going
out in the field.
Yeah,
when
they
we
have
do-
to be able to go over
Yeah.
obstacles.
And once they learn all their gaits and they start filling out and getting a little more muscular, and the riders start getting confident with them, then we'll take them out on the trail to introducing the new things out here. You know, the
Just
ducks.
all around the
I mean,
park.
anything
Oh,
you think
the
of
ducks.
that could really raise their suspicion of things. These flowers. You know,
Oh, wow.
anything you could think of that. It's just weird.
They've never seen before. It's all new
We've
to
had
them.
horses that, you know, if there's a bag in the air, that would bother them, and it just bothered them.
Oh wow.
My first horse I had, he didn't like puddles.
Oh boy.
I could walk him into the ocean, but he wouldn't go through a puddle. You know?
Bizarre.
Yeah. So they all get their own little thing that they don't like.
Well, I guess that just goes hand in hand with every horse being different, just like
Yeah.
every person, every animal.
But these guys are definitely going to be good. I could just tell. You know, we've had several new horses here, and some of them didn't work out.
Yeah.
They just
Weren't
not
the
made for
right
police
kind of.
work. But you know, these guys here are showing all the signs that they're going to progress fine through the program.
Yeah. So I know you said that these horses are showing all the right signs of being prepared for police work. What would you do if you did have a horse that wasn't prepared?
Most of the time, when the places that we've gotten the horses, there was a farm up in Canada we used, the farm in Indiana, and they give them to you for a trial basis.
Ah.
So there's a stipulation in there like, hey, if he doesn't work out for what you guys want him for, bring him back, and there's
We'll
always
find
a
him a new
job.
home.
There's always a job for a horse.
Right.
Whether he can't walk anymore or whatever, he could be out in this pasture being a friend to another horse, making him calm. So they all have jobs, and we usually have like the stipulation, like, look, this is what we want to try to work them through. They'll give us so many, months or so to train them our way, and if it works out, it works out. If not, then
they
they
have
can
a new
always go
home.
back and
Right.
get a new job.
That's all you have them doing so far now.
Yeah.
This is it. This is right here. Look, now he's starting to act.
Okay,
What's
so we
going
got a
on.
little
Like he stopped,
little struggle.
and the rider gave him a little leg to get moving. Now he don't know what that is.
Oh.
Like he's wondering like, why are you jabbing me like that?
Mm-hmm. And the backing up, I guess that's pretty
Yep.
typical. See, he bucked
There
a
he
little
goes.
bit, but he's
There he
trying to
goes.
get back into formation.
Yep, they'll fall in.
See, he knows. His
See, they'll
place.
step out like that when they start losing, attention. They're
Mhm.
only, whatever, 12, 13,
Right.
young teenagers now. He's all looking at the rail, wondering what's going on. He could be paying attention to his buddy behind
It
him.
looks like he keeps turning his head back
Yeah.
to try to see. I think he wants to make sure that he's not doing this
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
If he's following one
That's
horse,
exactly
somebody
right.
better be following him. Yeah, you can see he likes to keep his head turned back. But then once he gets going, he seems.
Because right now they're starting to get a little lazy. Like, I've been out here.
I don't wanna
what's
keep
going
doing
on? I don't want to do
this.
this no more. So we won't push them too much.
Well, and they're cold. They're cold weather animals. Where did these horses come from?
These the two new guys came
Yeah.
from Indiana.
Oh, okay.
But they definitely cold climate horses.
Yeah, I don't think they
mean,
really like the heat
yeah,
much.
Yeah, and it's a nice warm day today.
Right. Could affect them wanting to go back and
Yep.
and take it easy.
Mm-hmm. And we'll work a half hour.
Yeah.
That's about
Which
good.
is not
That's about
outrageous.
good enough for them. And then put them through the process of putting them down, cooling them down, brushing them down their saddle spots and their girth spots, and
So it looks like they have a really bright future here with the Mounted Patrol.
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty confident they're going to work out well.
All right, so what are we watching here now?
So right now is the untacking procedure. So after they're done work, we'll bring them in here, put them up in their cross ties, which are ropes that are attached to their cheeks, and they'll start untacking their saddle, taking their girth off, and then once they're done all that, they'll brush them down. And if they do get a heavy workout and they start sweating, we'll take them to the wash stall, we'll cool them down, basically give them a shower,
Okay.
and then bring them back. We'll wipe them down again, and then we'll put them up in their stalls for today. On a nice day like this, we're going to put them out so that they want to be out in the field running around.
Okay.
So when we're done brushing them down, we always brush down the saddle spots and their girth and anywhere where the leather was touching them.
And just take a look at them, make sure they're feeling okay.
That's when you know when they have saddle sores and
Aw.
if they're getting like that guy over there. Like all this is new. They start popping their head.
It's sort of funny to think that those little strings can have so
Well,
much control over them, but I mean, I guess as far as they know,
Yeah, that's all they know.
there's someone there holding
Yeah.
on to them.
If these horses knew how much power they had,
Right, exactly.
we wouldn't be riding them.
So it seems like they're much more into this process than they are into training out in the
Yeah,
pen.
well, they know. Like once they come in, they know everything. They know what time it is to eat.
Yep.
They know what time it is to come in.
So back to
They
that
know
routine
coming
again.
into this courtyard, okay, they're going to take this stuff off of me. They know all that.
Plus, it's nice and cool in here, so
Yeah.
they're coming in from
Yeah.
the hot sun. They're gonna get cleaned up.
Yep.
They probably enjoy it.
Yeah, once it's all over, all the tacks off of them, put them out in the field, and
Oh, and I'm sure it feels
they'll
good.
be happy about that.
So it's like a little reward for doing their
Mm-hmm.
training.
Yep. They'd rather be doing that than anything else, is it? Being
I'm
out in
sure.
the field, just being a horse.
Well, getting lots of attention and being petted
Everybody
on.
coming by, giving them treats.
Oh. Well, they are, I mean, horses are food motivated, isn't that right? So I'm sure they love every minute of that.
Yeah. It's definitely what they care about.
Well, how often do you have to groom them? Because
We
I
do it
saw a
every day.
lot of hair.
Every day, and especially now since the winter's over and they're starting to lose their winter coat. There's hair all over the place. I mean, you try to
Make sure it's all
work
brushed
it
out.
brush it out. These guys got fresh haircuts, so I mean,
know, they
you'll
look
trim
great.
it and help it fall out after the winter.
Is there any reason that this guy over here, Elvis, has the mohawk and the rest of the guys have the long mane?
It's like rider preference.
Is it?
So
He looks very military.
Officer Brown's had him since he's been here, and they have a pretty close bond.
Oh.
And he'll let his mane grow all the way up until it starts to fall over a little bit. So try to make it look like a Trojan horse.
Oh, wow.
So
He does.
looks neat.
So they get very attached to their riders then. They
In
know
a
the
different
rider.
way. In a different way. Not like dogs. Like you probably won't be able to tell, but since we're around them all the time, you could tell like that rider and that horse really go together. You know, they really have a bond. The horse will do whatever he wants them to do.
And knows what the rider is
And
going to
knows.
expect
Yeah,
from them.
Yeah. And most of our riders have that with their mounts. They've been with them for a while now. So, but these two guys, they don't know who they want to trust yet.
Right.
You know, they're just kind of up in the air, going with the flow.
Thank you so much for coming on today with me. And it was great to see all the horses and see the progress that, you know, the Colts, the young adolescents have made.
Yeah, it was our pleasure having you guys out.
Absolutely.
Showing the public where these guys are at right now and in their training. So, you know, hopefully you come back and we'll be at a different place with them.
We absolutely will.
All right.